Okay. Well, welcome to our contract professional service meeting. Always good to see Ms. Stroll, and it's equally good to see Mr. Hartzell. Mr. Hanlon, R-148.
R-148 is an authorization for a contract with JLK Contracting in the amount of $34,175 for repairs to the roof over the living quarters at the Maxed Out Fire Station and replacement of a shed roof, and they were the lowest bidder.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to join. We're going to have their iPads tonight. We're gonna vote on the iPads. We're gonna get everybody in sync here. Okay. R-148 was read by Mr. Hanlon. Now we will go to my council colleagues. Any comments on the? That was just the lowest bidder. How many bids do we have?
There were 2 bids.
2 bids. Okay. And JLK, where are they located? They're local?
They are located in Easton.
And where?
Easton.
Where was the other? Is it from?
Freemansburg.
Where were they from?
The other bidder was in Freemansburg.
Freemansburg, same difference. Our apples aren't the same difference, yeah. Okay, comments from my colleagues about R-148. Seeing none. Comments from the public, R-148. Let's vote. Kick it in. Gerald, stand by.
Should be kicked in.
Okay, should be kicked in?
Should be, but
It should be, but it's not. I mean, we're there on 148, but just go to speaker. Consistently. Yeah, we're all on the same page right now. That's the index.
Now we got it.
All right, here we go. Everyone vote on 148, not yet? Ms. Hampton?
let's go back up.
We're ready to go, let's vote. R-148, we'll cast the ballot. Mr. Hanlon?
6 yeas and no nays.
Okay, R-149, Mr. Hanlon.
R-149 is an authorization for a contract with AG Stellar Construction, Inc. for the emergency boarding services on an as-needed basis for $25,000 and $1 a year with 2 additional 1-year terms at a maximum of $75,003, and they were the sole bidder.
Ms. Stroll, go ahead.
This is yearly revenue to the city. So
Say that again?
This is yearly revenue to the city.
Mm-hmm.
So this was an official invitation to bid. It came back on August 25th of 2016.
And this is when we, like, there's a fire or something in the city, they go board it up and all that stuff, and then they Stellar Construction then deals with the insurance company to blah, 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 and so they're giving us money to get that service.
Correct.
What happened to City Line? They don't bid anymore?
City Line has not bid for several years.
That's what I thought. It's Stellar's that's it.
This year they were the sole bidder, yes, and I believe last year they were as well.
Okay, Mr. Green, go ahead.
Who's been doing the voting since City Line started?
Stellar.
It was Stellar and Moyers for a year, I believe, and then Moyers elected not to bid. So now it is just Stellar.
Any other colleagues? No one? Public? No one? Let's vote on R-149. Hanlon?
President, I got 6 yeas and no nays.
Sounds good. Mr. Hanlon, R-150.
R-150 is an authorization for a contract with Artifact Inc. in the amount of $16,250 for historic design, review services, and education and outreach for the Historical Architectural Review Board, and they were the lowest responsible bidder.
Okay, Ms. Stoll? What do they do?
This is the consulting services. This is historic preservation design review services for the Historical Architectural Review Board. And historic preservation, education, and outreach services as well. There were 2 requests for quotations, and they're being combined onto one contract. The request for quotations was released by the Planning Bureau for the city, and they evaluated the proposals very similar to how we would evaluate an RFP that would have been done in my office.
And they were the winner.
Correct, through an evaluation committee, yes.
So this wasn't a lower bidder type of thing, this was a proposal, professional services, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay, any other comments from my colleagues? Seeing none. Comments from the public? Seeing none. Mr. Hanlon, R-150, we're going to vote.
Mr. President, I got 6 yeas and no nays.
Thank you, sir. R-151, Mr. Hanlon.
R-151 is an authorization for a contract with Troy and Banks, Inc. in the amount of $154,600 to conduct a streetlight audit to reduce costs with a possible 1-year extension upon mutual agreement, and they were the best value.
Ms. Stoll?
This was released as an RFP for a streetlight audit. We received 5 proposals and were evaluated by a review committee. This particular service is going to be used hopefully to reduce streetlight energy costs. And we do have the department here if you have any questions.
Okay, my question would then go to Mr. Messenger. How are you, sir, tonight? Nobody, how you doing there, Mr. Messenger?
Doing good.
Looking mighty fine. Nobody in our city employment can do this?
Well, part of it is we don't have the correct equipment to do it. What this does also, when they do the audit, they take a look at what is there currently, and it also takes GPS locations, it takes everything into consideration. It also deals with PPL, with what is actually out there. Because right now, basically, we need to know exactly where we are with our 8,000 lights that we have out there. Obviously, we're looking to go for LED lights, and then, with that, obviously saving a lot of money in electricity, but then also providing better lighting for the citizens. But right now, it's been so many years since an audit has actually been done. Unfortunately, we don't have the equipment to do it, and right now, I hate to say it, we don't have the manpower really to do it. You're going to hear from us a little bit in a week from now at our Public Works Committee meeting. Just alone with what we've done in streetlight work orders this year was 1,770, and we pretty much have 2 people that really do that. Then we have all of the other work that we're doing with the traffic lights and the line painting and everything else that's getting done. This is something that's actually going to take a group of people months to actually go around to all of our areas throughout the whole city to get done. So we don't have the manpower, we don't have the equipment.
So it's not like just me walking down Allen Street and saying we need a street light at 22nd and Allen,
No.
one at 28th, a little more complex than that. How many street lights we have? 8,000.
8,000 total.
8,000.
They're also, when they're looking at it, they're evaluating what's there and then also giving us a little bit of sense of what we need to do when we actually go out and replace them with LED lights.
Okay, Mr. Hendricks, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Messinger, do you have an idea, and you may not, what is our yearly bill for electricity? The supply of those lights?
It's somewhere around 600,000 for the streetlights.
Okay. This will tell us how to be more efficient.
Well, obviously going to LED is going to be the first part of it. But then what it is, there's a lot of other work that's actually done through PP&L, through rebates, a lot of other paperwork that really gets done behind the scenes that we also need assistance with, which is also included with this. So we really need a fresh up before we do anything. And that's another part of what's going to be done with this audit.
Okay, would also include, as homeowners can certainly do, looking for an alternative supplier, which may not be PP&L, although they're delivering it, is that correct?
That's not part of what they're gonna be doing. We actually do that ourselves. That's done in-house.
Oh, okay. That is something we do, thank you.
Mr. Grady?
I just think that, thank you, Mr. President, I just think that this is kind of high, 154,000, is that what I'm looking at? For 8,000 light,
Yes.
street lights?
Well, it's 3,000 of them are pedestrian lights, and then also, right now, when we actually bought the lights off of PP&L before the poles, they actually had an actual tracking system that went along with it, so there's actually a way to know by a number that's on the pole where that light is. So part of what they're gonna be doing with these other 3,000 pedestrian lights, they're going to actually be setting up a system, tagging them, and then also this way, when someone calls in and says, well, I live in this area, there's a light out, we're not quite sure, because we're not looking at it at night, okay? So there's other processes we have to go through. This way, if they can give us a pole number, it's gonna save us time for sending guys out at night or doing other work. So this way, it's actually gonna help us save money in the long run. We'll know exactly what pole is out and what pole there would be an issue with. So part of that money is actually tagging and inventorying 3,000 of those lights.
In the volunteer way, I know a company, an organization doing the same type of thing, something like the constellation type of project where they, that would give us a, kind of like an order of telling us how much money we actually will save if we go that route. So it's like an energy saving type of thing. This doesn't do that. It's just.
It's gonna give us some suggestions, but basically it's an audit, it's a true up of all the lighting that we have throughout the whole city of Allentown, 8,000 lights.
I just wanted to be very high, but have we ever done this before, and how much was the cost that we did?
I imagine there was an audit done 8 years ago?
Yeah, probably 8 years ago, but that didn't include the condition assessment. That's one of the features Mr. Messinger mentioned, that we're looking at the foundations of the poles. So when we put the new lights on, we'll know that the pole is in good shape and the foundation's good, so when.
Well, are the poles ours, or are they the PPL's poles?
There are.
If it's just a light pole, if there's a light on it, that's our pole. There's some that are still transmission lines as far as for PP&L, that would be their poles. But we bought the majority of the poles, that was done 5 years.
So we bought the poles when we bought our lights, kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
And this is the first step. I think what we're saying is this is a necessary first step in doing our LED conversion. And then that will be where our cost savings come in. So we have to do this true up, assess the condition of our equipment, and then count everything, tag them, which is part of this. And then we'll be poised to do the next step, for which we have grant money.
Is this a grant money that we're gonna be using?
At this point, this is not grant money that's for this. It's actually, it's in a capital account. This is all part of the LED light replacement. This is just the first stage.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Let me refresh my colleagues' memory, and let me refresh the public's memory. A couple years ago, we were thinking, and you correct me if I'm wrong, a couple years ago, we were thinking about a contract with the 10 company, the Efficiency Network.
Mhm.
And if my memory serves me correct, that was about $3 million.
That would have actually been almost probably $4 million.
$4 million. So, excuse me, but this is a bargain.
Yeah, this on our end of it here, actually handling it this way and doing it piecemeal, but handling it with the management, the staff that we have, is gonna be probably about half the cost of what it would really been at that point in time.
It was $4 million before to do.
My memory says.
Order of 8,000 lights?
My memory says $3 million, but.
That was through that energy savings RFP that was put out, but then basically at that point in time when we saw what the cost was, we never signed a contract with them.
That's an awful lot to come out of line. I'm debating voting for 154,000, imagine 3 million. I don't think I'm voting for that.
And also too, if you have read very closely the subpoenas that the FBI circulated over the last several months or a year, that other company is on the list, so I think we're making a very wise decision.
Well, yeah, the other company, yes, but how much was that contract?
That one that they thought about?
$3 million?
Three, well, I'm saying three, they're saying four, and so.
It probably would have ended up
this
being
is
about 4 million.
This is a bargain.
Well, in that case, I guess you convinced me.
Oh, Mr. McLean, go ahead.
I was just gonna say 3 million to 154,000, it should be on the subpoena list.
No, that included actually replacing all the LED lights too, so that was everything. That was a turnkey system.
That was still, that was still
There's
live.
still a lot of money.
I just wanted to clarify that I was not here when that happened. I was on my retirement hiatus from the city.
It never came to a vote.
Right.
It never came to a vote, it just kind of went up to the cloud.
Yeah, quite frankly, the way I'm looking at it, so if we have 8,000 lights and light bulbs and we're paying $154,000, I'm dividing 8,000.
1,900 lights.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, though, this is an assessment of it.
Right, I understand.
I mean, there's
I
a whole
understand.
long
I just-
list of items that.
It's more than just checking the lights.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
Okay. At least we know that,
Yes.
that the public understands that.
Yes.
And I was gonna question the price also, but I'm also gonna question that we can extend this for another $154,000 next year, but.
No, it's just the fact of depending on the assessment and how long it takes them, that's just the fact of in case it needs to go on a longer period of time. Obviously, in all these contracts, I mean, there's acts of God, there's everything else that goes on. All it is just put in there just in case that would happen. We expect it's gonna be something more like 3 to 6 months though.
Okay, so they can get a 1-year extension of time to do the project,
Only.
but not an additional
Only,
cost.
only, yes, time only.
I also have a question. I want to make sure I got this right. This company also does a study on the, what Jen was saying, the base with the foundation of all the poles we have to make sure that they are good enough for us to put the LED lighting right in there.
Yeah, it's an assessment too, I mean, for us, for liability wise, if we have 100 poles out there that are anywhere, in an alley or in a street somewhere that's not called up with an issue, I mean, you have a pole come down, or you could have a pole, we've had poles already where they were infested by bees, we've had poles were infested by lots of different, termites. So when it comes down to it, we don't have somebody that can just go around and assess these all the time. So actually, it's a liability issue on our end too. So this way, if there's 100 poles out there we need to replace while we do this other part of the project, that will be part of it.
Thank you. Good idea.
Any other comments from my colleagues? Comments from the public? Hello, Mr. Hart.
Good evening,
Good evening, sir.
2016 East Highland. I was wondering if this should be turned over to the students who figure out how we do this, because their classes are over and they could come at night, drive past every street in town and do it as a class.
Graduation project.
Yeah, and I was thinking, we utilize them for such fantastic things, and here's one project that would be great for them to do, and I was wondering why no one thought that the idea that I came up with would be a good thing, because they would work at night when the lights were on. Now, the last time I was involved in this through a neighborhood study, the problem came up with the trees that were in the area and the dome of the light, the candle power, and everything that was on, and what happened to that study as to what they needed to cover the street lights from this corner to that corner and the one in between. What was the aluminum that they needed so that cameras, at that time cameras were just starting to companies and businesses, that they would operate and they could see, and then there was trees and everything involved. So what happened to that study? Is anybody?
I think Mr. McLean has a comment or an answer.
No, I don't have an answer, I said when he's done.
Oh, when he's done? Oh, okay.
I just wanted to clarify something with Mr. Messinger in regards to.
Number one, I have no idea what
Okay,
study, what year was that
this
study?
goes back to the deceased Ernie, when he was on the watch. And then they went around and told everybody, keep your porch light on to help illuminate the sidewalk or the walking, whatever the reason were for people going. And we tested that theory out in our neighborhood, and it was supposed to be done in the south side and the west end where they had the neighborhood watch program. So it was started, and then this, a study was taken, or something was taken, so that this program would keep going, and that the trimming or whatever obstacle was around these lights would be included. And I'm thinking, you were here at that time.
I don't remember that, but I wouldn't go into, I wouldn't put the city into a liable situation with volunteers, especially students. I would not.
Well, I'm just saying that it has to be done at night to do a true study on the focus, the type, and everything. I don't know how you do it.
No, they're probably gonna do that part of night.
Well, okay, I just threw it out as all the places. I know that the silver tags on the poles are there to tell the PP&L what's going on. Now, in some of the neighborhoods, the lines that had three things on: telephone, the cable, the electricity, and the lights had to be replaced because they did exceed their life expectancy, and they were rotting in the ground. Now, they were being changed in different areas. So I'm just saying that there's a lot going on here when you talk about this. And if you look at the companies, whether it's the cable or Verizon or Bell Telephone, they don't climb a pole or something, they have all lift trucks. So I'm just saying, we don't want to see anybody climbing a pole or doing this, and the equipment, the lift aloft to get up there, to get a man or two going up there, is that all, day shift, night shift? I just didn't have enough
I'm sure this
information.
company is qualified and has plenty of training in doing this. So this isn't something new to them, I'm sure.
Could someone research what happened to the other,
Maybe
study?
maybe my question to Mr. Messinger that I was holding off on might help clarify that. I'm guessing this company has insurance and is insured,
And the
insured,
city
and that
is
will.
listed as additional insured, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Hutzinger, welcome.
Good evening,
Name and address for the record.
just for the record.
Sure, well, in case anybody wants to visit you later tonight, either or.
Must I tell the truth?
So, no, yeah, well, you do most times.
Most times.
Go ahead.
99%.
Yeah, go ahead.
844 South 11th Street, Allentown. Is this gonna be funded by a capital project? I heard you saying, do you have the number? I mean,
It is a capital project, yes.
it's an existing capital project that was in the list about a year or two ago that I remember, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna follow up on that number sometime, okay.
Sure.
How many LED lights do we have right now?
Right now, we probably have probably about 60 or 70. Currently, there were some studies that were done a few years ago that there's some on Hamilton Street.
Okay.
And we're doing some right now that are on Walnut Street.
Okay. And the inspection's gonna take 3 to 6 months, you're hoping?
As long as everything goes well.
Can you go into any details on exactly how they're gonna do this? Are they gonna go around, take pictures of every pole? Are they gonna take light meters and measure the lights? I mean, I don't know why, but I mean, do you have a rundown of how they're gonna do this?
Oh, yes, there's a requirement of pictures that they have to take, there's a requirement of height that they have to take, a requirement of the length of the arm that actually comes off it, the pole condition, all the way down the line, because actually we don't need to do a light assessment at night. The assessment is done on a computer where it says how many candlelight power, if we have a certain length of an arm sticking out of a roadway, with lights 100 foot apart and using a certain light, so just that you can take away the part of if somebody's gonna be doing this at night, it's gonna be done during the day.
Is there a meter on each one of these poles?
No,
You're paying a bulk rate?
yes.
All 600,000 that we pay is a bulk rate for 800,000, or 8,000 lamps, is that about right?
Right, and then what happens is, like I said, this is the first phase. The second phase is actually installation. Third phase is a 3-month study that gets done with PPL, where they actually put meters on it, and we actually then will get a LED rated price off of what we're actually using with our lights.
Okay, I gotta stop you because otherwise I'll have to ask you 20 questions and then I'll take a seat, but I have 30 seconds left. So I don't want you to talk for 3 minutes and then, or.
I'm just glad to answer your questions for you.
Okay, very good, I'm trying. Are they gonna have a certified engineer on site? You said about inspecting the bases, I mean, how are you gonna do this? I mean,
There will be an engineer that is taking care of that, and then also, one thing I didn't mention, will give us a fully updated GIS layer on our map, which is also included with that money.
And then one last question before he cuts me off right here. Who for the city's gonna evaluate that evaluation?
That'll be done out of my office, but Nelson Varghese is our traffic superintendent.
Okay. And, he's not gonna do this by himself, no, he's gonna have, I mean, I guess his credentials, he's been around for a while, but,
It's a group that we actually utilize straight through with all of the.
So he would be experienced enough to do it now, except he'd need a helper or somebody else to do that.
You can come over, maybe you can give him a hand.
Well, we could probably get a couple of volunteers to help him. You wanna go that way?
It's not gonna work that
Okay,
way.
all right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hunsinger. Mr. Hartzell, go ahead.
To answer Mr. Hunsaker's question about the specific project number on the capital plan, it is project number 1501. So if he has that, and of course the next fiscal finance committee meeting will have the quarterly capital report. We'll have, that one will be part of the list.
Thank you, Mr. Hartzell. Any other comments from the public? And we will vote on R-151 right at this moment.
Mr. President, I have 6 yeas and 1 nay.
Thank you, sir. R-152.
R-152 is a authorization for a contract with Engel, Hambright, and Davies, Inc. In the annual amount of $22,750. And there's a mistake on this. This contract may be extended 2 years, not 1 year. They were the lowest responsible bidder.
Mr. Owen?
Yes, this was an official request for proposal. Proposals were due back on August 18th. They were evaluated by 3 city employees. John Marquetta is not here, but he did provide me with a summary, which I know that he also sent to Mr. Hanlon. The contract is for a broker to obtain various city insurances, which are therefore need to be processed. This has to be done by 2017. This includes such things as police liability, public officials liability, excess workers' comp, etc. This particular company was the lowest cost quote. Excuse me. In the current contract. Like I said, it was evaluated by an evaluation committee. So if you have any questions, I can certainly try to answer them for you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Owen. Comments, questions from my colleagues? Mr. McLean, go
What
ahead.
exactly are they gonna do for us?
They are a risk management consultant, and they aid the risk management office in the management of the city's total cost of risk. It includes auto liability, workers' comp plans, police liability, public officials liability.
So they're gonna tell us what we should do.
They're gonna help, yeah, HR and risk management.
Any other questions, comments from my colleagues? Questions, comments from the public? Mr. Hamlin, we will vote on R-52.
one no, and the no is Mr. McLean.
Okay, 5-1, thank you. R52 passes, and this concludes our meeting on contract and professional services. We will meet at 6:45 while Mr. Hendricks will chair the Public Safety Committee meeting this evening. Thank you.